And I have like 125,000 chips at the 800 level. So wish us luck. Good luck, Kenny.
Thanks, bro.
Cheers, brother. Good morning, what's going on, everyone? It has been a couple of day break here, at least it feels like, since playing last. To recap, yesterday I did not play at all, had a GTO Wizard party to go to, and was kind of just recharging a little bit from the day before, which I tried to play multiple tournaments, but there was a wait list on Sunday pretty much everywhere, and I was close to playing the Venetian tournament, but then to end the day, but then did not end up playing and just played some cash games, chilled that night. So it actually feels like this is going to be the first tournament that I've played in a while. And even though I did play on Sunday, but mini main lasted for like 30 minutes, aces lose to nines, whatever, okay? But this feels like I'm gonna have a nice long day in the Poker News Deep Stack. This is a $600 buy-in tournament, 40-minute levels, 30K starting stack. I am getting a little bit of a late start today, but I'm feeling fresh. I needed to sleep, and let's go, that's it. Break with my buddy Kenny here in the WSOP online lounge, and a couple of hands just now in the Poker News Deep Stack. So it is 300, 500, and I'm in the small blind with Jack 9 of diamonds. There's an early position open, a late position flap, and I call in the small blind. We go three ways to the flop. The flop comes 3, 5, 7, 2 diamonds. So I flopped a flush draw. I checked my opponent, initial raiser, bets, a very sheepish, unconfident bet. You know what I mean? That's something like I notice a lot of out here. And then his opponent, or the guy in late position, calls, and on the flop I decided to just call here. And then the turn brings a 8. So it should be, no, it was 5, 6, 7 on the board with a deuce, because I had a gut shot here with my Jack 9 of diamonds and the flush draw. I check again, and then the initial raiser bets 5K here. Late position just calls again. So the guy in late position is just like folding here all the time. I had like 33-6 in my stack at this point. So I go all in, and the first guy tanks forever, and he eventually makes it like an epic call, and then the guy behind thinks for a minute, he also makes an epic call, and the hands get flipped over. Of course, I've just got my flush draw with the gut shot. Initial guy had hit a 7 on the turn, but had an 8 for an open-ended, and then the other guy who called off had pocket 8s for open-ended.
Ice tea? Put it up there. Or I mean a 9 really. 4. Damn it.
Nice.
And then the river was a king of diamonds, baby. King of diamonds. So I win a massive, massive pot there. And then there was another hand when I opened 7-8 suited at 3-600 in the cutoff. Small blind 3 bets to 4,000. No, 5,000. He throws out a red chip. I make the call in position. The flop comes king, queen, deuce, 2 spades. He continuation bets for 4,000. I get a flush draw here. I'm not going anywhere. I call, and then the turn brings a blank. It's a 6, and he checks. He's got about 20K behind at this point, and when he checks to me, I just got all the chips here. I'm literally just putting them to a decision. I put in 30K, enough to cover him, just because I don't think he's ever calling here. If he has a queen, he's probably not c-betting flop, probably just like check calling. So you could have like jacks or 10s here, or like some ace-5 suited stuff. I was being pretty aggressive. I think that he could have a wider 3-bet range here. And I have 8 high, so put him all in, he folds, and yeah, going on break now, and I have like 125,000 chips at the, I think we're coming back 800 level?
Yeah.
Maybe 800 level. So wish us luck. Good luck, Kenny.
Thanks, bro.
Cheers, brother. All right, we'll keep you posted. Wow. Okay, so I just had a crazy run of hands here, and I got to tell you about it. So I had, after the break, just heaps, man. I had 165K coming back from the break, coming to the 1,500 level, and then One of the first big hands that I have is 7-5 of clubs. So I defend my big blind here versus middle position open, and the flop comes Jack 7-4, check call with one club on the flop. So I got backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, and then turn brings a club. It's like a deuce of clubs. It doesn't give me any additional equity outside of the flush draw, check, check, and then the river brings the 9 of clubs. All right, so I hit my flush, and I bet, it was a block bet sizing, like 3,500, which was about a quarter of the pot here. Kind of just looks like my opponent has ace high here a lot. And then he goes all in for his last 15K on top, so it was like 18.5 total. And I have the flush here, man. The board didn't pair or anything like that, so it's like a pretty clean board for me. I have the flush, and it's like 10 more blinds. I mean, are they ever bluffing here? You know, I definitely bet like a smaller sizing that I think my opponent could be bluffing sometimes. I'm hopeful. I made the call, and then I was right. My opponent did have ace high, but ace high with clubs, so flush over flush, lose a decent pot there. And then another huge hand that happens is 3-7 of clubs in the big blind. Middle position, open button, flat, small blind call, and I call. So 4 to the flop, excuse me. Flop comes ace 7-7, so a flop trips, and there's a flush draw out there. It goes check, check, and then a small bet, 3,000. The button call 3,000, small blind folds, I make it 15,000, and both remaining players call. So this pot is already getting huge. And then the turn comes a blank. It's a jack. And I continuation bet again. I bet 26,000, and middle position calls. And then the guy on the button, nice guy, watches the stream, very friendly. He gave me a vitamin water. Shout out to Cody. He calls off for his last 25K. And then there's 2K in the side pot. He's all in. And then the river brings a king of hearts. So king of hearts on the river, flush gets there. I still do think I have the best hand versus middle position, who still has chips. And instead of going all in, I think this is a spot where it's going to be really tough for ace highs or pair of aces to call on this river if I just go all in. If the flush bricked, I was going to go all in, but the flush came in, so now it's a little bit more difficult for them to call. So I bet like 26K, another small size on the river, which was about a third of my stack, and it was about half of his stack, so he could still make the call if he had like an ace that he couldn't fold. But he does find the fold, and then sadly, Buddy on the button had a jack 8 of hearts, and he hits his flush on the river for a huge pot, man. That was like 150K or something, and that one really stung. That put me down to 87K, and then I open the hijack with pocket tens to 4,000, 1,000, 2,000 level. Got in my left calls, and then so I'm hijack, cut off, and then the big blind, 3 bets to 19,000. And this is a capable player. He had actually 4-bet me in a spot where I squeezed from the big blind. He had 4-bet and then folded to my jam earlier in the day. He was playing online. I could tell by the way he handled his chips and did everything that he was just capable, right? So he goes for this squeeze here, and the guy behind me to my left kind of set this up really nice because he was just doing a lot of flatting. So it's like a really, really nice squeeze spot. And yeah, so I pocket tens here and about 40 bigs. Good situation to pick up like a ton of dead money for when the times this guy is squeezing. I go all in for my last 87K, and player in my left folds. Big blind, sadly though, has pocket queens, and I need to get there. So here's the run out.
Nice hand.
And from an absolute dream to how this day was going, I am now out. And super painful, man, super painful, but that's just the way it goes sometimes, I guess. But I was really hopeful. I was thinking, today was the day I was really going to build a stack, make a nice day too. And all the signs were pointing there. I even lost a pot earlier in the day where the gentleman to my right, nice older gentleman, jams button right back from break for like 20-some blinds with ace 4, and I pocket eights. I call off small blind.
Eights versus ace 4.
And yeah, it's just, yeah, coming back from break, everything just went downhill. I couldn't win a pot and had a lot of nice spots, but just got torched. And that is it for the Poker News Deep Stack today. And a couple more events coming up here. I got the Moneymaker Main $1,700 buy-in. We got the main event, and I might even play a little something else in between the main event, which I'm going to play on Saturday. So we'll see. Thanks for watching, and let's see that B-roll.